the article, and we're recording this so that I can share this with people on Schoology. If you come to me and you're confused about how to find a scholarly article, I'm going to say, go look at the video on Schoology. Or you can come into morning tutorials. All right, so obviously the first thing that you want to do is you want to go to MPSD.net. Everybody should be there, right? All right, once you get here, you're going to go to schools and you're going to go to Mount Pleasant High School. Everybody there? Look at the basketball team. Then you're going to go to departments. It's over here on the left. And you're going to go to MPHS library. That's where you want to go. So departments and then MPHS library. If I can get it to stay up longer than 5 seconds. You will scroll down and you will see where it says databases down here. You are going to hit the plus sign and it's going to open up the databases so that you can see the 4 different databases that you can go to look for information. There's lots of options in here, guys. Lots. So there's lots of capabilities of different places you can search. If you go into one database and you come to a standstill, let's say you go to the TextQuest Navigator, right? Within it, if it'll open, what just happened? Let me try it one more time. It's loading. It's just really slow. Anyway, within it, there are a bunch of different individual databases, right? Some of you used it last time when you were looking for articles for the lit circles, okay? So there's a bunch of different databases inside it. Let me try it one more time. I'll give it a minute, see if it actually loads, that you could use. And it tells you that it's waiting for the Gale pages. Yeah, there you go. You need to be smart about what you go into. For instance, nothing in the encyclopedia is going to help me. All an encyclopedia does is give you basic general definition type information. I don't want to go into that kind of stuff. I can go into maybe environmental studies or Gale literature. I mean, there's all kinds of different ones that I can look at. There's one down here that's the high school edition that I could look at that might help me find stuff. But essentially, there's several databases within that database. If I go into those and I'm like, well, I didn't find anything here. Well, what I want to do is I want to get out of them and go into another one and pick something different, okay? This is one place that you could start. You could also go into EBSCO. You're not going to sign on with Gale. You are going to sign in using MPISD-HS. And the password is learn, the number 20, and an exclamation point. It's actually right over here on my wall. And then you sign in. If I can get it to work. Once you get in here, you then just need to select which database. This is the same idea as the whatever that one I was just looking at, the TextQuest Navigator. Was that what that was? Yeah, the TextQuest Navigator. You've got several databases within that database. That thing at the top is like in my way. Okay. So I'm going to go in here and I'm actually going to go to this Literary Reference Center because I'm going to start by searching up one of the pieces of literature that I might want to connect to Shadow and Bone. You don't have to go this direction. I'll show you how to search up the greed thing in just a second. So I'll go in here and I select the database, the Literary Reference Center that I'm going to go to. If I can get it to pull up. I don't know why it's moving so slow. All right. And in here, I am going to try and say, okay, I think I could connect Fahrenheit 451 and a lot of ideas in Fahrenheit 451 to the thing. Now, keep in mind, you are not going to be able to find information about Scythe in here. It is very unlikely. Does anybody know why? Scythe is not considered a high-level scholarly piece of literature. Okay? Fahrenheit 451, it is. It's what's known as a classic. If a book or a piece of literature is considered a classic piece of literature, you will be able to find information about that piece of literature in here. If it is not, you won't. Like, so you're not going to find anything specifically about Shadow and Bone. You're not going to find anything about Scythe. But you will find stuff about The Most Dangerous Game, about Fahrenheit 451, about Romeo and Juliet, about, you know what I mean? Like the classic pieces that we've read in here, you will be able to. The Sniper might even be in here. But that's a pretty generic title, so that might bring up a bunch of stuff. But anyway, I'm going to go with 451, and I'm going to click search. And I'm going to wait. All right. So some things you need to pay attention to. For starters, you guys will want to automatically pick the very first thing. That's not necessarily bad, but it's not necessarily good either. This is a book. Y'all see that? You don't want a book. Are you going to read a book? A whole book in 2 days? No. You don't want a book. Don't pick that out. Okay? This is good. It's a periodical, but this is not good. It is a review. What that means is all they've done is they've read Fahrenheit 451 and they're just giving feedback as to whether or not the novel is good. Like, is it a good novel? Do we like it? Is it relevant? There might be something in a review, but it is very unlikely. That's not the kind of stuff. So those kind of things, like how these are all reviews, all of them, I want to get rid of, or I don't want to look at. This reference, this came from an encyclopedia, which means that most likely all it's doing is telling me information about Ray Bradbury and who he is. That's not the type of stuff we're looking for. I want to find a way that I can connect theme-wise, themes, like we could do the violence thing. We could do greed, but I think greed would be more of a struggle because I don't think that Montag is necessarily greedy. So I think with that, you'd have to go with that violent aspect. You could do this right here. See this one? But it's a review. I don't want it. Let's keep looking. And that's what I got to do. I want to read the titles, use my brain, and keep looking. Now, last period, I clicked on this one right here. It wasn't necessarily bad. I think that the idea of mental illness, especially in teens, could be used for Shadow and Bone. Not that she's mentally ill, but she does struggle with her appearance. And there is lots of discussion in the novel about the importance of appearance. Think about Jinya's whole character and how appearance has affected Jinya, right? One, it's caused the king to basically have an inappropriate relationship with her, right? Two, it's helped her and both hurt her. It's helped her in life because of the fact that it's created a situation where she is in the role she's in and she's able to be a part of the queen's court and the king's court and is high up and is excelled, but it also has hurt her. So you have this whole mental health aspect that goes along with it, not to mention that Alina beats herself up all the time, right, about her appearance. Alina thinks she's plain and she's not pretty and all this other kind of stuff. So I thought, well, I could use this article. Is it talking about Shadow and Bone? No, it is not. It's talking about 451, and I'd be willing to bet it's actually going to be talking about Clarice, right, and the possible mental illness situation with her. Maybe Montag, but probably definitely her. And it's also talking about Jane Eyre, but that does not mean that I can't still use it. Remember, all I need is one snippet, one quote, one little piece of information in this article that I can use to support my ideas in Shadow and Bone. So I clicked on it, right? If it will connect. I don't know why it's moving so slow. The very first thing that I noticed when I clicked on it is that I just really hated the appearance of it. It's written by staff, which is a problem in and of itself because I don't have anybody to research, right? So I'm like, yep, what does this mean? This means I don't and can't use this article. You are going to go through process of elimination. You are not going to find your article in 5 minutes. And it's going to be a seek out and search situation. And I would basically just keep going. Down here, it tells you whether or not you have the HTML text, meaning like it looks like it would on the internet, okay? Or you have a PDF text. This is from a period. I didn't even look at this one a minute ago. It'll open. You would preferably want a PDF text, but you are not required to get that. The only reason why I say is with the PDF text, you get this kind of look, and it's easier to read. This one's short, but once again, I can't really use it because there's no author. You're just going to have to go through and search and find what you want. Let's say that the Fahrenheit 451 thing falls apart for me altogether. Well, I could go about it a new way because that's essentially what you're going to have to do. Remember, there's more at the bottom, so I can keep looking. After I've gone through and I'm like, okay, well, I don't know if I can connect just straight through Fahrenheit 451. So another possible thing that I can do is I can change up the way that I look for something. Let's say Fahrenheit 451 plus violence. And what I'm going to want to do here is I'm actually going to want to put the book title in quotations because this will make it where it looks for that specific book title. Because I'm adding in more wording, I don't want it to go askew. So I try it again. That's how you're going to have to do. You're going to have to be like, okay, what can I do with this? How can I find this? And here I only had one article and I may not even want it. I'll look at it. It is literary criticism. I don't know why it's so slow. This is a good start. Up here, it gives me that first slide, the article information you want, it gives me that stuff up here. This is the database or the journal that it came from. This is the document type, the publication, the author of this was actually Ray Bradbury, so that's kind of cool. This right here gives me a specific breakdown or background information, like a little short summary. It is not the summary that you will use because the summary I asked for is a little bit different than this. But it's so I can read it really quickly. And then down here, I have the article. So this isn't too bad. I might actually could use this article. Let's say that I'm struggling finding anything on the databases. Another possibility is that you can go to Google Scholar. Essentially, you go to Google and you go to Google Scholar. This is the same way. I'm going to search for things the same way. Last period, we searched for greed and danger. Okay? The idea of greed being dangerous, right? There's some things that you need to pay attention to when you are in Google Scholar. For starters, if there's a little link over here, you can get the article for free. It will pull it up. So if I click on this, bam, there it is. Right? But some of them don't have a link. Oh, it lost my computer. I got out of that, but you can't see what I'm in. Hold on. It's typically not a good sign. Everybody keep your fingers crossed that this will work. Okay. But some of them don't have a link. Notice right over here that it's blank, right? So let's say that I look at this and I'm like, okay, well, I really think that this could be a good one, though. The idea of greed to self-interest. Actually, that fits the Darkling really well because pretty much every aspect of what he's going about doing is all a personal self-interest. It all benefits him, right? And later on, y'all, it actually fits Alina because I'm in book 2, and it actually fits her. But so I go in and I'm like looking at this thing, and it says, okay, I get down here and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Well, this is not the end of the article, right? It's like a little brief thing, and I want to see the article. I can go to the next article, but I can't look at this one. So it tells me that basically if I want to get access, I have to, it brings me back to the same article. Ultimately, what it wants me to do is it wants me to sign in to get access. And it may bring me, it wants me to sign in. Now, I can tell you what's going to happen when you sign in. It is going to ask you to pay money. Do not do this. I can get you a copy of this article if you really want it without you paying money for it. What you want to do is you want to go back out to this main page and you want to click this quote. See this little citation quote right there? Y'all see that? I'm going to click it. And then this information is the information that I need, that you need to bring to me to let me find the article. Because I can find it through Texas A&M Texarkana and print it off for you. Okay? So don't pay for articles. We can get them. At the very least, I could probably get the Texas A&M Texarkana librarian to email me a copy. Like if I can't find it, to get me a copy, we can print it off that way. So don't pay for an article. Does everybody understand what you're doing? Tomorrow and Friday, you will be given time to find articles. You have tomorrow, Friday, the weekend, and part of Monday to work on this. But Monday, you also have the reading quiz, so keep that in mind. Oh, I got to quit recording. Stop recording.